Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to AWS Cloud Security User Group Inforce 2025 recap. My name is Orelowa, and I'm your moderator for today's session event slash recap. So, thanks for joining. So today, we are joined by four amazing guests who attended Reinforce 2025 live in Philadelphia, and they'll be sharing their unique insights and perspectives across various topics that were spoken about during the Reinforce. So before we meet them, right, let's know where you guys are joining from. Let's know how your weekend is going. Well, my name is Ore. I'm joining from Lagos, Nigeria. And how is my weekend going? My weekend is going pretty well, pretty interesting, I guess, I suppose. So let us know where you're joining from. Keep the comments in. If you have any questions, feel free to join them in the chats and they'll be attended to. And we have something interesting lined up for you after this event, right? So it's kind of like a raffle draw. So, but you should have registered for the event and you should definitely attend the event. So it's like a raffle draw, and we're going to be picking, let's say, drum rolls, we're picking top three. So it's a raffle, right? So anybody can actually win it. So it's not just one person. So let's know where you're joining from. Drop them in the chats. Let's know. Please, please, please drop them in chat before we begin. Come on, let's keep the comments coming in. Come on, let's go. Let's keep the comments coming in. Let's go. Let's keep the comments coming in. Come on, guys. Let's keep these comments in. You guys should feel free to drop a message in the chat, please. It's supposed to be more like an interactive session, right? So let's feel free to say anything. How did our week go? How is our weekend going? Where are you joining it from? Oh, Isaac from Lagos. Hi, Isaac. Nice to meet you. Um, Hi, David from Kenya. Oh, your weekend is amazing. I'm happy to hear that. Great. Nice to meet you, David. Let's keep on dropping those messages in the chats. Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's have some fun. Come on, guys. Maya from Lagos. Nice to meet you, Maya. I remember you, Maya. How you doing? Nice to meet you. Hi, Benny. Benny from Cameroon. Hi, how you doing? All right. So I'm guessing we'll start properly in 1 minute. So we'll just keep your comments coming in. Let's know where you're coming in from. Let's know where you're joining from. Let's know how your week went. Let's know how your weekend is going. Hi, Tim Tope from Lagos. How you doing? It's nice to be here today, right? I didn't attend your first live, but I'm very, very excited to hear what everyone has to say, right? So these guys, they are the best. When you say the best of the best, right? They have always been there for the community. So let's say the recap dance. Okay, Ben is good. Hi, Isaac. I'm currently undergoing cloud computing. Oh, that's nice, Isaac. And how is that going? Hope that's going great. We have a couple of resources that we could share with you. So, if there's any need or if at any point in time you think that there's something that you need help with, you know, the community is always there for you. So just let us know. I will definitely help you out. That's why we're here. It's community, as our leader will say, community is queen. Yeah. I'm doing great, Maya. Thanks for asking. So let's get into the business of the day, right? So for those of us who don't know what the Reinforce is, so AWS Reinforce is an AWS cloud security event. It happens every year in June. So this is where news about security services, probably new security services or update to existing services are spoken about and clarified. So I'll be bringing in our guests. So you guys drum rolls, drum rolls, please. So let's bring our first guests. All right. Our first guest is Shammah. Shammah is a cloud governance risk and compliance analyst with over 4 years of experience in third-party risk management, cyber security governance, and cloud security. She recently earned a master's degree in informatics with a concentration in cloud computing and information security from Northeastern University. Shammah is passionate about driving secure digital transformation, mentoring aspiring cybersecurity professionals, and contributing to community-focused initiatives that promote diversity in tech. Um, Hi Shammah, how you doing? It's nice to have you here.
Hi, Ora. Hi, everyone. How are we doing today?
Doing great, doing fine. How you doing?
I'm not bad myself. I mean, just recovering from 4th of July celebration
Oopsie,
yesterday.
oopsie. Alrighty, so let's bring in our next guests. All right, Seun. Seun Musa is a cloud security engineer with a focus on AWS security, specializing in identity access management, network security, data protection, monitoring, and compliance. Whew. Seun strives to design cost-effective, user-friendly systems that securely connect people and promote productivity. He combines strong listening skills with a continuous learning mindset to deliver secure, scalable, and growth-oriented cloud solutions. Um, Hi Sheon, it's nice to have you here. How you doing?
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Hey,
Good
Shammah.
morning. Good
Hi,
morning. Good
Sean.
afternoon. It's
Yeah.
nice that we're all smiling. I like that. Let's show our teeth.
It's a holiday over here, so
Nice to
it's
have you here,
good.
Sheon.
It's good to
So
have
let's
you.
bring in our next guest, right? Christian Chuks Emenike. So Christian is a multi-cloud network security DevOps engineer, well, at BMW Group, supporting secure, scalable infrastructure across AWS, Azure, and containerized environments. He builds resilient architectures using IEC tools like Terraform and also uses GitHub Actions and CI/CD pipelines. With a background in AI research and DevSecOps, he contributes to hybrid cloud connectivity projects and mentors upcoming engineers like me as an AWS community builder, advancing secure cloud practices across Africa and beyond. Um, all right, it looks like Chuks dropped out. I think he's having network issues, but we'll definitely pull him in when he's back. And to round up our last speaker, right? We call her the veteran. If you know, you know, right? So Amina is a dedicated security engineer based in Dallas, Texas, and she's also a student at the University of North Texas. She holds three AWS certifications: security specialty, solutions architect, and developer associate, among others. Amina is a third year AWS community builder and has been honored with the All Builders Welcome Grant 4 times. You know, this is what we call her the veteran, right? 4 times, just imagine. She's passionate about building secure, innovative solutions that make a lasting impact. Um, let's bring in Amina. Hi,
Hi.
the veteran herself. Hi, hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Amina.
I think
Hi,
Chooks
everybody.
is in. Chooks, can you hear us now? Hello.
Mm.
I think he's having issues with it, but that's fine. That's okay. When he joins. So hi guys, how we doing? Hi, it's our day. Hope you're all doing great.
uh,
Absolutely.
It's
we're
nice.
doing okay. It's like
Yeah.
like Shammah said, it's aftermath of 4th of July, so it is
Yeah,
Saturday. It's a lot of things going on for Saturday morning.
yeah.
3-day weekend,
Oopsie.
relaxing.
That's
You
that's
can't be
Yeah.
that's that's
happier.
that's enjoyment. You guys are enjoying.
Not as
Oh,
much as Nigerians.
Really?
No.
we barely have holidays.
Yeah.
Every single holiday we take advantage of them and just use them.
Yeah.
Hi, Chuks. Can you hear us now? Hello, Chuks. I think your mic is turned off or something else. So, but that's okay. Uh, we'll just keep on going. Then you definitely join us. So, let's just kick things off, right? We don't have so much time. Let's just kick things off. So, first of all, right, let's just talk about how this year's reinforcement, right? So, what stood out to you guys, whether it's a keynote speech or whether it's a new AWS security service launch or whether it's an Huawei conversion that happened, what stood out to you guys? So let's start with Shammah. So, Shammah, how did this year's reinforce event go for you?
Hmm. Not to sound cliche, but
Okay.
Reinforce is always transformative in every sense of the word, right? From the keynote to attending sessions, connecting with people, like it's always amazing. But for me, I think the key takeaway that I always look forward to in Reinforce, and I also hope that people do, is the mindset shift, right? You come and then you hear different professionals, different people in leadership talking about how to approach security issues. And one of the key mindset shifts for me is that security is not just a technology problem, but it's a people problem, right? So
Mhm.
having that in mind, taking that away from the conference is me saying in my work that, okay, I'm trying to mitigate this risk, but then there's a human behind this risk or this problem, and just trying to have our human senses alert to know that I'm not just tackling a technology problem, but there's someone behind the technology, which is a human being. So trying to, it's also psychological, trying to know what the person's motive for trying to break into my system is, and trying to act from there. So I think one of the key takeaways in mindset shift that security is not just a technology problem, but a people problem. And we should start seeing and solving security issues from that standpoint. Can you hear me?
All right. Thank you for that, Shammah.
Yes.
What about you, Seun? How was your experience like?
I think Shama has covered the baseline when it comes to
Oh, really?
connecting to people, understanding the security strategies and how to ensure you're securing things properly. Then other things that stood out are a couple of enhanced features. I didn't really see any new services that was announced, but existing services, they kind of like fine tuned them. There are so many things that customers has been asking AWS to do, especially the security hub capability. So having to make it better for, visibility, threats, kind of a thing like that is really great. Then another thing that stood out is the certificate manager. Ideally, before you have to have a private a certificate, but now you can use the certificate for other externalized applications, so which is really great. And having to have threat intelligence in some other services, so it's just really great. So I think those really stood out, and they paid attention to customers, and I'm glad they did. So other than that, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to know that AWS listens to customers and acts based on those
Mm.
suggestions. So, I
Correct.
mean, I'm not going to ask you the same question. I'm going to ask you a different question. I'm pretty sure you know because I'm going to ask you. The question is
The
four
veteran, yeah.
times. Yeah, actually, right? How did that happen? Right? Let us know. So, for people like me, I've never applied before, but you
Yeah.
have applied 4 different times and you got four. I'm still struggling to contain that feeling. But how did that? How just tell us about it? How did that happen?
So, first of all, AWS loves me. Like, what's there not to love?
AWS grandchild, probably.
Yes, yes, I'm their baby. But I think that um, I have a good storytelling skill. Like my application, I always think from the perspective of who's reading it. So I put together what they want. You want them. You want to put. You want to understand what their core values are, which is community, togetherness, collaboration, and you have to incorporate all of that into your application. Also, AWS has a lot of different programs. Think about AWS Restart, AWS She Build. You have to show that you're already into the community. You already have certifications, you're active in the community and stuff like that. So, highlighting your key achievements, highlighting your challenges, how do you resolve, how do you deal with challenges? Even though you're going through challenging times, how do you share knowledge with your communities? How do you collaborate and give back when you don't have. So I feel like I do put together a good application, and I focus on my achievement, my skills, and that's about. And every time I go, I learn something, I learn more, and put it back. The aside from this, because there's always a mentee and a mentor application. You apply once for a mentee, then you apply the second time as a mentor. So for a mentor, they ask you questions about what you learned, what you achieved, how did you use what you learned after the conference. So you highlighting all of those would definitely give you um, an edge.
Hmm. Thank you
Yeah.
for that, Aminat. So it's more like tell AWS how you have contributed to the community, right? So it's
They're,
not. It's
yeah,
more like yeah.
they're
All
really
right.
huge on that. They're really huge on that.
And can I add to what she said? I
Yes,
think
please.
one key trait that our veteran has is courage, right? Always the ability to go for all the opportunities, even if you feel like you may not be qualified for. I think coming from Nigeria, one can tend to downplay your skill sets, your experience, your accomplishments. So you must have probably you have put together a small program for 2 people or 3 people, and you feel like you need to put together a program for 100, and you feel like you putting that in your essay would not they will not be captivated by that. But no, just try to write down every single thing that you have done. It could be the smallest thing. It's part of your story, and then you never can tell what the the person looking at the application is going to look at. So of course you have to have courage and go for all opportunities. And then no matter how minute your experience or your skill sets or your achievements are, try to put it in your application because it's still of value.
So
So
because I'm still in school, and even though I was able to highlight a lot of things that I do in school, so that was a huge. Even though there are little things, what you do in terms of school club and all that kind of stuff. And then after my first reinvent in 2023, I just fired up. I went for Google I/O. I went for Black Hat, DEF CON. So I just kept on. I just kept on going all over the place, and I feel like that really helped my mentorship application. So it shows that whatever I learned at AWS reInvent, I had that courage to keep on going and firing up. So yeah. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Our moderator is
All right, can
frozen.
you hear us?
Okay. But yeah, it's I think that it's Shammah, you haven't been to reInvent, right?
No, I haven't. I haven't actually. I'm definitely going to apply for this year's conference, but I've been to Reinforce 3 times.
Yes. I think what I love most about this All Builders Grants is that you tend to meet people again. So I met Shammah last year at Inforce. I met her again at Women in
Women in
Cyber.
cybersecurity, like we have been following ourselves from one conference to
I met
another.
her. So I feel like we get to build really genuine relationships. And I've met Seun so many times. He's here in Dallas, and it's so much fun. The relationships that you get to build from attending conferences. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add to what Amina said, we've built a lot of family, I'll put it that way. There's a lot of us that we've met together and we've known each other outside of the conference, and the connection has grown tremendously. And this is one of the things that this conference will provide for you. People outside of your zone and people that has information that you needed. And this field that we have, apart from your skill set, connections and references, it goes a long way. Imagine that Amina has a specific information that I needed because I know her, so it's easy for her to send the information directly to me. Or I say, "Oh, I have a friend. His name is Seun, and he's into this," and that's how you create connections. And all of those things help us to grow, like very, very well. And like I said, Shammah has been a great friend. Amina has been a great friend, and some of the other guys out that are situated globally, they've been family. So, and Chris himself too has been wonderful as well. So, this is one thing that the conference will provide for you. And yeah,
So in summary, community is queen basically. So you have a community, you guys build a family out of the community. You can always reach out to them for help. Don't worry.
right.
Very soon you will have more people come for the
Of
reinforce the
course.
world. You
We
meet,
can't
Uh,
wait,
you see more family and
honestly.
faces.
yeah,
The more the
and
better.
just to add to that, you yourself are also part of the family because now we're having conversation around this. So yes, that's how it grows. Yeah.
All right, great. Um, all right, so let's dig deep into why we're here today. So this for you, Shama. Right. So this question is specifically crafted for you.
Mm.
So AWS announced deeper integration in IAM Access Analyzer and MFA enforcement. So from a GRS's perspective, right, how does this affect continuous compliance?
Yes, I mean, that is a very good question. When I think about the tool, the AWS Identity Access Analyzer, I feel like it solves a lot of challenges in the security space, right? It offers a lot of benefits. In the CIA triad of cybersecurity, you have authentication, authorization, runtime integrity, and this tool is solving the authorization part of it, right? Um, it offers organizations like different benefits, like providing visibilities into like their access in their system. It also helps with applying least privilege access, right? So not just anybody can get access into like your workload, your infrastructure, your system, and it also helps with just providing real time monitoring and real time monitoring for an organization. And what that does, especially when combined with multi-factor um, authentication, it's like a two-edge control that one can use to in the organization. And from a GRC perspective, I mean, the main goal of cybersecurity is to reduce and mitigate risk. And so if an organization has the AWS Identity Access Analyzer, you're able to mitigate risk, you're able to reduce your risk from the access point of view, right? And even when you even look at different standards and frameworks in cybersecurity, for instance, the NIST framework, um, you have five functions. You have the identify, you have the protect, and the detect. Now, this tool is going to help you with three of the of the pillars of the NIST framework because you're able to identify the different access, the what people have access to in your workload. You're able to protect because you're able to apply the principle of least privilege. So not just anybody can access your system and your workload, and you're also able to detect because it provides you like a continuous visibility into the system. So if you see like an anomaly, you can obviously take charge immediately. And aside of this, it also gives a lot of organizations operational efficiency and agility. Cybersecurity is a very, very fast pace. There's always something evolving. So the the ability to take action quickly, this tool definitely gives organizations. So in summary, from a GRC perspective, it helps organizations to mitigate risk, because that's what we're all about, trying to identify the risk and also try to mitigate it.
That was a very, very strong answer. Thank you very much. So my next question goes to Amina. So application security had exciting moments this year. Right. So what's your take on Amazon Inspector support for static analysis and general remediation?
Yeah, that was an exciting announcement. For me, that is a game changer for us in the application space, because this new support for static code analysis, wherever your code is, whether it's on GitHub, GitLab, maybe your serverless workloads, for example, your Lambda functions, ECS, Fargate, and all that, you're able to scan your source code and detect vulnerabilities where they occur. And I think that this is a huge step towards our shift left security mindset, where we're able to detect vulnerabilities early in the software development lifecycle. And the generative AI remediation is just top notch. I feel like being able to quickly respond, just like Shammah said, being able to quickly respond to vulnerabilities, fix them on the go is really important. And that way, your developers are going to be getting educated, they're going to be learning and continuously improve the quality of their code. Aside from that, I think that we can expect even more AI-driven capabilities, better integrations, and I'm looking forward to more like a broader support for other programming languages.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I think security has always been an afterthought for a lot of organizations, right? People are like, oh, let's just push this code, let's worry about security later. Right? But
Yeah.
now we know AWS inspector, Amazon inspector got our back, right? So we can inspect our code, build a static analysis just to check if that's thank you for that,
Yeah.
Amina.
You're welcome.
So, Seun, right? So on the cloud security front, right? There are also a lot of announcements, right? So,
That's correct.
what's new feature caught your attention the most? Like, you saw this new feature or this new layer, you're like, wow, wow.
Yeah. There's there's a lot of them, but the one
Okay.
that I will talk about is still the security hub, So before, when you use security hub, you only get findings and that's all. Nothing much, no too much information. Then people are forced to use third-party CSPM tools like Wiz, CrowdStrike, or whatsoever. Those ones has a lot of in-depth visibility when it comes to finding. You see attack paths, you see visualization, you're able to cut out tickets, you're able to make comments on them, and people go as far as building some forms of solution, like using the backend API to create some forms of auto remediation, all kind of things like that. I'm not going to go into the details, but with this particular security hub that AWS did, it's really great because you're able to see that you visualize the attack path, you see what happened, especially maybe from a GuardDuty findings that goes into Security Hub. You're able to see, Amina log into my account, Amina created EC2 instances, Amina took my credential key, and Amina is trying to create a crypto whatsoever. You're able to see all those attack paths and you see the visualization. Then the additional part is where you're able to cut out Jira ticket and you're able to add the service now. And that is a really great improvement. I'm not going to lie to you. So those that are using CSPM tools a lot can tell you that this is really an improvement. And it's It's really great. I'm not gonna lie. So that alone captured my high one. Then number two, the certificate manager thing. The reason why I'm emphasizing is because uh, we've done a lot of projects in the past that you would have to create a private CA and use it within the application. Then you are forced to create another certificate for any externalization. But with this one, you can use it. Though with this, it will create more security issues depending on how you secured it or how you configured it. However, having to be able to use it outside of AWS, I mean, outside of the um, private CA and not just within that. So it's really great. So, and that's all I can tell for now. But a lot of announcement really caught my attention. But these two key are really great. Yeah.
All right. So let me try to understand how this new security hub feature works. So does it come at an additional costs, or you don't need to pay an extra amount of money for this new?
Oh, that's a good question. So I think it would not, correct me if I'm wrong, not AWS, but I don't think it will cost any other thing, any other additional features. It's just um, enhancing what is already existing. So, you know, ideally, it's still the same uh, data source from what's it called? Mm, excuse me, my brain for it. Yeah, from GuardDuty, config, and any of those tools that it's collecting data from, it's still the same thing. But the difference is that it's doing a deeper analysis compared to the previous one. The previous one, it just gives you, oh, you have this issue and that's it. But now it goes in details. It gives you that attack path, and which is really great. So if I'm doing investigation or I'm doing a research on what kind of vulnerability we have or any kind of misconfigurations and anomaly, just to understand where all that is coming from. I need to understand what I'm trying to do. So having to be able to see all of those detailed findings, it's really great. So it means that nothing is left behind. So that is really, really great. And that's one of the things that these vendors provide. If you use Upwind or use Waze, they're great at giving you visualization. They're great at giving you detailed findings. So, and it's one of the things that a lot of customers have complained about. For AWS to bring that, it's a great improvement.
Thanks for that, Sean. So before we go on, so our guests watching us, just if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and our amazing guests will definitely answer the questions. So let me come back to you, Amina. So you spoke about Amazon Inspector. So how is the integration? So let's imagine that I have my VS Code, my IDE, right? And I have a repository there, right? So how does Inspector scan the code that is there, or do I have to push it to GitHub, or how is this?
Yeah, it integrates seamlessly with GitHub. So you have to make the push to GitHub, and then you connect on your AWS account. You're going to connect your inspector to GitHub, to your GitHub account, and that's how it scans your code. Hello.
I think he lost the internet, but you can just continue, just help the audience.
Yeah, so I feel like if you're already using AWS, it's gonna be really easy to add on. It's
Okay.
not a new environment. You just have to, uh, connect your AWS account to your GitHub or your GitLab.
Uh-huh.
Also the same, if it's also your Lambda functions, it can scan your function and give you that GenAI remediation, and you can fix it on the go.
Perfect.
Wow, I think immediately after this call, I think I need to take a look because I have some repositories hidden there that I haven't scanned in a very long time. So, so let me come back to you, Shammah. Right?
Mhm.
Um, identity first security was a very strong theme as well. right? So, how should regulated industries adjust their posture based on identity first?
Okay, that's a very good question. And my answer would not only be for like the regulatory industry. I feel like every organization should adopt this. The first recommendation is that, I mean, mindset has to shift from an old mindset to more of like a dynamic mindset. When you know that you're in an industry that constantly change, you have to make identity access like the core of your security model, because for any threat or vulnerability to happen, like access has to be given, right? So that's like the first um place that most companies should look at, most regulated industries. And it would be for me making identity like the core, and ensuring that there's continuous identity verification authorization across every of your workloads, your apps, your third party tool, just name it. Don't think any code or any tool is insignificant. Try to create access for everything. So I think that is my recommendation, that every workload, every SaaS application, every third party tool, everything that a regulated industry is working with um, should be securely protected, so that access is not given to who is not meant to be given.
Thank you for that. Thanks for that. So, I mean, I know we spoke about GNR remediation, right, but I want us to talk more about that. So, do you think are we seeing AWS prepare for LLM abuse, or basically AI based threats? Are we seeing them prepare for this kind of threats adequately now? Do you think so?
Um, yeah, I had a lot of conversations with their AI, and I think that they are staying on top of it. They have a couple of like guardrails, Amazon Bedrock guardrails,
What?
and yeah, it's to protect against like prompt injections, hallucinations. It has different level of protection depending on what you want from your model and what you're trying to protect. And I would say it's pretty comprehensive and easy to use. There's a lot of conversations around agents and security. I feel like that's where they're at and what they're trying to, but I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Right. Thank you for that. Thanks. So, Chuks won't be able to join. I think he's having issues with his internet, but not the same, right? So we have a question. This is for you, Amina. So Maya says, can the new Amazon inspector be implemented in the pipeline?
Yeah, absolutely. It's you can integrate it into your CI/CD pipeline, and whether you're using your GitHub Actions or whatever it is, you just have to connect it from your AWS account, and you can get a full visibility into your code. So it's going to act as your static application security testing tool within your pipeline.
Thanks for that. Amina. So I'm guessing that answers the question, Maya. So let's move on. Sean, so this is for you. So you know the way AWS, you can have an organization that has multiple AWS accounts. I know I've
Mhm.
seen organizations with close to 100 accounts, but but do you think we're getting closer to zero trust in AWS multi-account environments?
Yeah, I think we we're getting there. Or let's say we already have the foundation. The reason why I said that is because ideally, if you are building AWS multi-account environment, there's something AWS created. It's called AWS Security Reference Architecture. So it's SRE kind of a thing. Yeah, Security Reference Architecture. Yeah. So it's a foundational baseline on how to create multi-accounts segregated environment and what should be available, what kind of security parameters or what kind of security adoption you should have when it creating multiple accounts with different OU. So that helps you to set protective guardrails in that then you segregate all of those things. So that alone is a starting foundation. Now, the second part, as Shammah mentioned initially, said that we are the security. So security start from you. You have to define what you wanted to and what you needed in their account. So that way, you're able to put protections around there. So regardless of whatsoever AWS have brought out there, if you don't create a secure foundation from your multi accounts, there's no way that zero trust will be achieved. And the essence of zero trust is that don't trust nobody, just trust the process, and you provide what is necessary. So it and things that should be done that based on need, not based on okay, we just want to put it that way. So I think we should. That's why I said that it's already there and not already there. If I say not already there, is that probably AWS needs to uh, bring out some security services that can help some of this mundane effort that customers create. But the ones that AWS already provide, I think we should leverage that to create a secured multi-cloud environment. So, for example, your environment has, let's say, 10 AWS accounts, and you have like three OU. One is sandbox, the second one is the staging, and the third one is the production. So you have security. So I believe you should have a security accounts and security OU. That way, your certificate key management strategy can be there, or your certificate whatsoever can be there. Then your login and monitoring capability can be in another one. And if you're using Control Tower, it will automatically give you a log archive account where you can have that. Then for the sandbox account, I believe you want to consider cost optimizations and all other things. So if that sandbox is where everyone is coming, then you might want to put some forms of parameters that every 3 weeks or thereabout, it automatically milk whatever they're testing in there. But the QA account, you want to ensure that what is going in there. Like, so all of those things are part of the zero trust capability. And if engineers need access to a specific services or something, or they need particular permission. So if an engineer only creates something, why are you giving them access to delete, or why are you giving them access to list if they're just creating? So all of those things is where the zero trust come from. So you yourself, you have to emulate that zero trust effort. So AWS can only do it too by providing the services, but it all based on what we ourselves do. And that's why I mentioned about the security reference architecture. It's a reference architecture that gives you what and what to do and how to build your environment, how to securely configure that. Yeah.
Right. Thanks for that. So now that we talk about multi accounts, let's talk about multi cloud. I
Okay.
know, so this is anyone can answer this question, right? So I know we always say, oh, multi cloud, multi cloud, multi cloud.
We'll push it to the
So do you
veteran.
think so do you think multi cloud is a threat, a complexity, or do you think it's an opportunity?
I don't see it as a threat. So correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody can jump in. So from my own experience, for multi-cloud perspective, a lot of customers have used it greatly. For example, some company uses AWS as their workload. They use it for infrastructure. I mean, then they use Azure Entra ID for IDP, and some of them use Google for their marketing campaign or whatever. So it's a multi-cloud capability in the sense that if you want to log into AWS, you still log into the Entra ID and some other applications that they have. So, and some of them even use Azure AD. I mean, is it what's it called? Azure DevOps. Yeah, they use Azure DevOps for their DevOps effort and stuff like that. So it's still a cloud agnostic effort. It just depends on what and what. And another thing that comes into play is finance capability. So they look into it. If a company has a good contract with AWS that gives them a very low subscriptions or maybe something like that, so they'll go for it. And if Azure is providing them what they need, they'll go for it as well. So it depends on what you're trying to achieve and what your application is built on. I mean, how your application is built. Some people, the application is built to through it's built like to suiting in AWS. So in that case, they would go with AWS. Some it's Azure, but in all, I don't see multi-cloud as a threat. I see it as an opportunity, and at the same time, it depends on how you build them. So that's what I can see so far.
I think I would say the same thing as well. It's an opportunity, especially with what happened with Google Cloud of recent. I feel like you have to be yeah, like
You have to have
no,
options.
that was last year, and you cannot just put, especially if you're a really huge organization, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So with the right team, you can. It might be a little complex, but with the right team, you can design an architecture that works for your organization. Also, we based on what Seun said, different subscriptions, different cloud service provider has different strengths, so you can leverage some of their best services and work with that. But yeah, it's definitely an opportunity, not a threat.
So, Shama, from a risk point of view, right, how do you think managing multi-cloud environments? What challenges do you think you might face?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think up the top of my head, when using multi-cloud, I think firstly is like integrating the three clouds together and ensuring that there is no like gaps in like connections and all of that. Um, I think another another risk that could be that could stem from using more. Hmm, I wouldn't say it's a risk. I would say it would be more of like the risk of putting your stuff in the cloud and not necessarily like using multiple like
Cloud.
cloud accounts for managing your workloads. But definitely the whatever clouds that you're using, like everything has to be integrated properly so that there is no um on authorized access and all of that.
Hmm, hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So, I know you have always spoken about mindset shifts, right? That's something that you are spoken about from the get-go, right? So what mind shifts, or rather, what mindset shifts, right, do you believe that security teams must adapt post reinforce?
No, I think I mentioned it already. Like when I first started talking, I mentioned that I mean going from having the mindset that security is a people problem and not just a technology problem, right? Because the people use technology as a way to exploit the system, right? So there's always someone behind the unauthorized access. It's not a robot that is trying to gain the data, right? Someone is using the robot as a way to gain the data. So just thinking from it from a people's standpoint, okay, why are they trying to gain unauthorized access? Why would someone want to access my data? So just trying to think from a people's perspective and trying to work your way back because security, you're not just tackling technology, you're tackling people at the other side of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the mindset for for me, and the other mindset would be just trying to involve with the dynamic change in the industry. I know it could be very hard today, one thread, tomorrow another tool has come out. I'm just wondering what kind of like should I adopt this tool or implement this tool, but like just trying to stay agile, have the best team that is open to learning and also using that learning to protect and better the team and the organization.
So to add to what Shammah said, I think another mindset, something that I feel like my key takeaway was AI is here. AI is here to stay. So as your security teams, if you're not leveraging it, I don't know what you're doing. But yes, so you have to start having these conversations, building your AI policies, AI usage across your organizations, because AI empowers your employees, and you have to make sure they are using it in the right way. So those are the conversations you need to be having. Have that mindset of how do we, secure and minimize risky AI usage.
Thanks for that, Amina. So we have two questions, or rather, one comment and one question. So Maya said, in a response to multi-cloud, Maya says, my experience is GCP, Artifact Repo, Key Manager. I think DO should be Digital Ocean, I guess. Kubernetes cluster, Azure DevOps. Wow, only you, Maya. All right, that's okay. Then Spaceso says, or it's a question, right? AI and ML are becoming indispensable in detecting, analyzing, and responding to security incidents or events. Do you think that ML security tools can be 100% trusted in conducting cyber security operations?
Mm.
So, who wants to
I can,
help? All
I
right.
can take that. So yeah, I feel like every technology has its, there's a lot of shortcomings in terms of like AI, ML, hallucinations and all that. So I would not say 100%. It can be trusted 100%. There'll still be a number of false positives, but as we can all see, AI continues to evolve at a really rapid pace. Like it's getting better and better every day, and I feel like we're going to continue to get closer to that point where it's like 99. But I think security as a whole is all about new evolving threats. So, and as ML continues to learn, I think that's the major capability, be able to learn from previous events, and we're gonna get pretty close, but I don't think it's gonna be 100%.
Wow. So, I think I was talking to Shama earlier on, and I told her something. I told her that this is probably the worst AI can be. Right? So just know that. So you just have to consume AI before it consumes you, right? Right. So um I have two last questions, right? One is, what is one very, very much underrated AWS security solution or service that
Well,
you think many people don't pay attention to or should pay more attention to? So we'll just go around. So Seun, do you
uh,
want to
I,
go
I
first?
I can start.
Okay.
It's still the underrated one is still the IAM. It's
Yeah.
the it's the baseline.
So
It's
you
the
stole my answer.
okay. Okay. All right. I can take another one
No,
if
no,
you
no, I'm
want.
just I'm just kidding.
All right. So it's still IAM. So the reason why I say IAM is that a lot of people just see it as okay, just attach permission and that's all. So let me give you a scenario. Imagine that you have a VPC and that particular VPC, you don't want that VPC to create a C2 instance, or you don't want somebody to attach an EC2 instance. Then you create a role and say that, okay, this role will not be able to create EC2 instance. And you think you're done. Trust me, you're not done. So I can go behind it and just create a new subnet and just attach the EC2 instance to that subnet and still attach it to that VPC, and I'll still do what I wanted to do. So that's why I say IAM it's key. So, and if you say, oh, your S3 bucket, someone can only list it but cannot download anything, and that's what we did in that Wiz champion. It was a CTF kind of a thing, and we had to go behind the back door to get the flag inside the S3 bucket. And the IAM rule the person gave us can only list S3 bucket. We can't even download, so we have to go. So that alone is key, very, very key. So if your IAM is not well secure, trust me, nothing is secured in your environment. So it's one tool that is very underrated. So it's people need to take that seriously. There's more into it. There's more into it. Just ordinary IAM. You hear IAM as a service, even IAM engineering, cloud IAM engineering. So there's a lot of things around when it comes to IAM. So it's one thing that is so underrated a lot of times. So yeah, I think we should pay attention to that a lot.
So thinking of IAM as like the alpha and omega of cloud, or
Yeah,
just say
that
systems in general.
no, I think in the cloud is the alpha and omega. In the entire cybersecurity, it's just something else. But let me give you, if you look at it, say identity and access management, you have to identify, you have to grant access, you have to authorize, you have to, okay, this is Shammah, you can come in, and you have to give uh, permission to what Shaman need access to. So all of those things is very, very important. You have to, it's key. If you're building IAM solution in your environment, there's so many things you have to consider. You have to consider second level authentication. You have to consider geolocation. So if Aminat is logging in from Dallas every now and all of a sudden she's logging in from Turkey, then you have something that has to
Suspicious.
be done. All of those things. So yeah, there are things that you need to consider when it comes to doing IO. So people just use that, okay, just attach permission and just go. No, it's beyond that. So and it's one thing that is so underrated so far. Yeah.
Thanks for that,
Yeah.
Shemo. So
I think
yeah.
okay. Or no, you can
No, go
speak.
on.
Well, since Sean has stolen what I wanted to say, so I'm gonna talk about AWS Detective. I think that is also a very like powerful tool that organizations can use. So what AWS Detective does is that it pulls in data from all your AWS resources and it uses like ML graph modeling to summarize and investigate findings from all your resources. And what this does is that firstly it saves time. So instead of you looking at going to all your resources and pulling out manual data, and
Right.
reading it and trying to make meaning of it, it saves time. So imagine an organization can have millions of AWS resources. So this cuts down on time and it also like summarizes like the findings. And of course, once you have the summary of like the investigation, a company can act quickly, right? Especially in this climate where things are evolving. Like just delaying for 10 minutes can cause an organization dangerous consequences. So the fact that the detective would is going to help you to investigate, is going to save you time, and then like of course it's going to give you insights on what's going on within your AWS resources, so that as an organization you can take action immediately, right? So I think that is a very very underrated tool.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. So we talked about security of having visualized attack path and all of that. So with that detective that you mentioned, so if someone logging into your environment and GuardDuty flag it. So you can use that detective as a researcher or investigator and go into that. It will give you the path of what happened. It's like the Hammer. So it will just tell you all of those things. You'll be able to see, like CloudTrail is learning when it comes to a detective. Detective will tell
Mm,
you all of that in detail. So it's really great for companies that want to do a lot of research on their environment, look into okay, what's happening. Let's investigate just to prevent any kind of malicious or any kind of hidden something. So it helps a lot to do a lot of research and try to identify anomaly. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Shama and Shemo. What about you, Amina? What security service do you think is quite underutilized? Or do you think people should use more?
I think I would say Amazon Macy. The Macy is like a data classification, data security and privacy tool. A lot of people don't. I don't hear a lot of conversations about it. I hear more GuardDuty, AWS Shield. Wow, And so I recently took on a data. data security role, and it's important that you understand where your company's data, how it's moving in and out, making sure that your data is not just lying around in someone's personal computer. You want to ensure that you implement the right security controls to avoid any data loss. So, and one of the first things you do whenever you're trying to implement any DLP solutions is data classification. And that's where Amazon Macy comes in. You have to be able to classify your data across, like, as to how, which one is critical, which one is considered confidential, which one is considered, protected. So that way you are able to implement controls for each of them. So I think Amazon Macy is pretty underrated and very important, especially when it comes to like regulatory and compliance requirements. You want to make sure that customers' data is well protected. Is important for customer trust. So, and I feel like it sets a very good foundation for a good cybersecurity data strategy. Yeah.
I'm gonna add to what Amina said. She's completely right. So it's a native DLP tool, and also when it comes to data classification again, it also boils down to IAM. The thing is that when data is being classified, who and who should have access to it? What and what can you have access to? So that is another thing. And lastly is because the reason why a lot of people don't pay attention to Macy is because they use a lot of DLP. I mean, they use a lot of DSPM tool out there. For example, I'll take Wiz again. So Wiz has a tremendous, robust features, and they have DSPM that comes with DLP and all of those things. So a lot of big companies don't pay attention to it, but they didn't know that Macy can do so much for them. So if you're able to leverage Macy in your environment, number one, you save cost. Number two, it's within the cloud provider. And number three, if you're able to use your IAM to, build security around that Macy, so it will help you in the long run, especially the data. And when it comes to data privacy, you want to look into, does Aminat need this access to this data? Yeah. So what kind of data is in there? So why do you need all of those things? So those questions, we're able to ask that question. It will help a lot when it comes to your DSPM solution.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm using you as a reference.
All right. So to wrap our conversation, right? So for people like myself who didn't attend the event physically, right, and for many other security professionals who couldn't attend the event, so whether physically or couldn't attend the event online, right? Do you guys have like a one-liner advice for those kinds of people? Like, is there something that you think that they should pay more attention to, or something of that nature, something along that line?
Okay, so when when it comes to reinforce, there's a lot of sessions, keynote, fireside, and all of that that cut across different I'll say different roles, like and different domain, like GRC, AI, cloud security, architecture, and stuff like that. So the first thing you want to do is go to the YouTube channel. They have all of those fireside and all of those sessions. So or better still, if you go to the website, you see all of them. So I would say filter them, look into which of the sessions correlate with your job function or something you're trying to transition into. If you're a security engineer, transition into a security architect. So I would suggest you look for those sessions that talk about security architect, because majority of them are just hands-on practice or some things that somebody did the research on and bring it out there and show the world. So you can use that. And if you're someone that wants to improve better from, let's say you have always been building detective capability, but you want to improve from an offensive side of the security, there are also fireside sessions that are like that. So doing that will help you narrow down to which session you take, because there's a lot of them and you can't finish all of them except you want to stretch yourself out. So being able to do all of that will help you to identify which sessions you can go through. And they also have a recap. AWS always provide links to recap. So recap is they put all of those announcements and all of that. So you can also go through that as well. It will help in the long run. even we, there are so many sessions that we missed out. We haven't even gone back to them. Later, we're still gonna go back to them. So you can't finish everything, but being able to identify which one is for you is the best way.
Thanks for that, Sean. What about you, Shammah? So, do you have like an advice for those who couldn't attend the events, whether physical or online?
Like, is it for if they want to come next time or just what they can do, like in the meantime?
Both, actually,
Oh,
anyone
okay.
works.
I mean, so what they can do in the meantime, I mean, Sheil mentioned like the most parts for starters, if you want to have an idea of what happened during the Reinforce 2025, you have to wait for the recap and of course go through those sessions and see the session that aligns with your current role and where you're looking to build more experience and more expertise. Aside the recap of the 2025, what people can start doing in preparation for the next conference, right? It's gonna be 1 year from now. So I mean it's just to start building your skills, your experience, and that may look different for everyone, right? It could be trying to gain more understanding of another part of security. Security is a very, very big function. In fact, what I always advise people, like when they come for the conference, like if you're in GRC, try to attend sessions that are not necessarily related to GRC so that you can have an idea of how like the ecosystem works, right? There are different pieces in the security ecosystem. So don't just stay stuck to your own um little bubble. If you're in application security, you could pick interest in GRC or even app testing and just trying to understand the security standpoint from that. And I think one more recommendation for people that want to apply for the grants, like I mentioned earlier, um, try to do things within your community. Like I really love the initiative of this West African group. Try to do things, try to build your profile, no matter how small it is. Keep showing up, keep reaching out to people on LinkedIn, have conversations about security, um, build your experience, expand your network. It's all step by step. I mentioned that this was my third reinforce, and my first reinforce actually was through a connection I met at my church, local church in Boston. And I got interested. We got talking, and then he told me he's in cloud security, and he gave me a ticket actually. So just
Wow.
start from there. It may not look, it may not, you don't have to, it may not have to do all the techie stuff, but if it's communication that you could do, reach out to people. If it's to work on your certifications, definitely do that. I know AWS also has a lot of trainings on their portal. Like I mean, I mentioned the AWS restarts, they have like their platform. They have I recently joined their one of their training is called the give me 1 second, let me pull that out. Um,
Is it the new voices?
no, no, not the new voice is part of it, but hold on. Uh, okay, so it's called the AWS Cloud Institute Learner Grants Award, but I think the only constraint is that you need to pay with an American card. So if you have someone in the US to pay that for you, so you apply for the grants and they can either give you 50% off or 100% off. So it's a good way to start, right? You learn about AWS services, how to build and deploy solutions on AWS platform, and then of course when you come next year, you're able to take it up from there.
Wow. 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 All right. So that brings us to a close. Thank you so much, guys, for honoring our invitation. Thanks for sharing your unique insights. Thanks for telling us that we need to have that mindset shifts. Right. Thanks for that. All right. And Seun, thanks for letting us realize that IAM is not just a simple service, right? It's
Yeah.
a it's the master of cloud.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that's the
Aminat, thanks
foundation.
as well, right? So thank you very, very much. We're really happy to have you here. Thanks. So I'm guessing we'll move on to our raffle draw. I'm not sure. You guys might want to stay back. Probably you guys even will.
So can't
But
we do
hold
the
this.
raffle draws too? I want to win something.
Really? Okay. All right. Let's see. So, courtesy of the community, also courtesy of Chuks as well. So let me just pull up my screen. Right. Let's see.
Shammah, what
So
do you want
it's
to
a
win?
I need like a ticket to like Tanzania or something, like just on vacation. I need to rest.
Oh,
uh,
oh,
it's
it's,
not it's not it's not as big as that, unfortunately.
I'm just kidding. Oh,
So
I
let
think
me
okay, no, I know the perfect gift right now. The perfect gift is if you give me like $100 AWS credits for the
well,
console.
well, funny enough, we have, but we don't have up to that amount. So we
Oh,
are
okay.
currently
Makes
yet.
sense.
So let me share my screen. Just let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes.
All right. So we have about 73 people
okay,
registered
that's
for
a
the event,
lot.
and right, and we are sharing 3 AWS credits. So
Cool.
this is a live draw. So I'm not, and it's at random, right? So there's no ojoro and there's no mini more, right? It's done at random. So let's see who wins, right? So let's play. So let's
Hi,
say
Muiwa.
time,
Muiwa is
drum rolls,
You know,
drum
funny
rolls.
enough, you guys, Muyiwa is here. Hi, Muyiwa. Muyiwa was the person that actually gave me my first reinforced ticket from
no
church.
way, really?
Yes.
Oh my
Wow, hi
god.
Muiwa,
Yes, he's a really great guy. I think I met
hi
See,
him at
Muiwa.
honestly, Muyiwa is a red gem. Someone says Shama got her first ticket from someone. Someone needs to get one from you. Amen. By God's grace, like
yes,
it's that. It's
yes.
something that I definitely have in the plans, but but look forward to it.
Alrighty, so let's see. Click here to see results. All right, so we have 3 winners here. We have Samuel,
Woo!
then we have Njoku Victor, and we have Genevieve Annan. Thank you so much, guys. So just ensure that you send us an email with a proof that you are actually the one, because I can be a Salmon as well, right? I can be a Genevieve. But thank you guys for coming. Um, thank you guys for having fun with us, enjoying yourself, right? So stay tuned till next time. We have so many things cooked up for you guys. Don't worry. It's
Mhm.
the it's not the end of it's not the end yet. We have so many things for you guys. So all the same. So Chibuke is saying when you want help your boy.
No,
Yeah, I want to
I
before we
feel like
go. I
I've
want to
casted Muyiwa at this point.
Before we go. I want to give a shout out to two people on the chat. Number one, brother Muiwa, I hear you first. And number two, I know Nwachuku is hiding there. Say Muiwa, help your boy.
Chibuke,
Don't mind him. Oh.
the
So
golden jacket guru, Chibuke.
exactly. So those two are trying to hide. So, but all in all, Miwa was my mentor in my first reinforce, and since then we've created a great connection and over time, and that's one thing that this community brings to you. And thank you, Miwa, for all your efforts. We appreciate you. And
Mm.
yeah,
Thank you, Miwa, as well. Hopefully you be my mentor as well. But all you know, um, thank you very much, guys. So don't forget to follow the community for upcoming sessions, meetups. So 2 words, right? Stay secure, stay curious. See you next time. Bye.
Bye
bye
bye.
Bye.
Thank
guys.
you guys so
Bye,
Bye.
much.
Thank you,
guys.
Bye.
Aura.
Thank
Bye,
you. Thanks,
Shama.
you.
Bye,
Thanks, Amina.
Aminat.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Shama.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chuks, as well, even though you weren't able to make it, but thanks for the credits.